It was at this moment that he knew.
He bucked up. Welcome. You're listening to Bucked Up with Sam Buck.
This is exciting. This is episode 1.
Now you fucked up! Now you fucked up! Now you fucked up! You have fucked up now! Now you fucked up! Now you fucked up!
Fuck
Now
you,
you
John.
fucked
You
up!
don't get to enjoy
Now you
that
fucked
beat.
up! Now you fucked up! Now you have fucked
Suck
up!
a dick. I know my parents and my grandma are definitely going to be listening to this. Welcome to Bucked Up with Sam Buck. I'm starting a podcast because I'm single and lonely, and that's all you can do. No, this is a self-help podcast from me, Sam Buck, who doesn't know how to take care of themselves. But I guess I'll start with a little story before I even intro my guests. This is their studio. This is a beautiful, amazing studio in Brighton, and they have coasters. They have coasters for their water. I'm not going to say what it says on the coasters because it's a bad, naughty word. But when I was young and I would go to my friends' houses and I would be offered drinks, I would get a glass of water or tea or soda or whatever I'd want, and I would go, "Do you have a coaster?" Because that's what I was taught growing up. Yeah, and all my friends' parents would be like, "What the hell? Like, why is this little kid asking for coasters?" And I would go, "Coasters are our friends." That's what I would say to them. And that's why I needed a self-help podcast. That story right there. All right, welcome to my first guest. They are the amazing people who are helping me put this on. This is their amazing studio. And just two people I really love, and I'm happy that I've gotten to know in the Boston comedy scene. It's Ani Moush and Irish O'Neill.
What up? Thanks for having us, buddy.
Of course. So yes, this is a self-help podcast, and there's two rules. The first rule we don't talk about because it's kind of like Fight Club, but the second rule is positivity. That's what I'm preaching on this. My friends tell me I get religious when I'm drunk. I'm not drunk now, but I'm gonna get preachy. I don't know what that tells you, but yeah. So welcome. Thank you guys for helping me with this, and thank you for being my first guest.
Thanks. We're excited, man.
Thanks.
So I actually wanted you guys on because you are very successful without talking about it. And that's something I appreciate a lot and something that I am very bad at. When I get good news, I want to tell everyone. I like to blame it on being an only child and being lonely. That's what I blame everything on. But no, but it's something I really do appreciate. And also you guys built and build and are building an empire together because you are also a couple. And that's something that is really important and crazy because that doesn't really happen a lot. Yeah. See, that's
a lot of people
answer.
say it shouldn't happen.
A lot of people say it shouldn't happen, and I'm going to talk a lot about your guys' relationship. I know you're so excited about that. But again, I don't know what I'm doing with self-help. I don't know what I'm doing. I ruin relationships.
Don't act like we know, Sam.
Yeah, but you got
What are you
keep it
talking about?
going.
I know. I'm the master of relationships. I'm more of a journeyman, but
No, I'm going to try to be
It's a lot of
very...
trial and error.
yeah, that's fair.
Shut the fuck up. This is my podcast. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to try to be open on this podcast. I do things. I said do, but I do things to work on myself. I try to meditate and do yoga every single day, work out. And I am going to talk about your relationship. I was broken up with because I was not a good boyfriend. I didn't cheat or anything, but I want to learn and grow, and that's what the self-help is. And it's funny because every day I meditate and my app tells me like how many days I've meditated in a row. And that's so cool because I got to like 103 days today. And I was like, when did I start meditating? Oh, the day after I was broken up with. So every day when I look at this number, it's like a real positive thing, but it's like, damn. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
But that's kind of like Phoenix rising from the ashes. You know what I mean? Like, you can't think about it that way.
No, it's all positive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bad shit's supposed to happen to you.
That's where
That's how
that
you
growth
form.
only happens when bad shit happens, and that's kind of why I'm on this journey. So that's all about me. I like talking about myself. I'll blame it on being an only child again. But
I'm an only child.
are you? Then what happened to you that you don't talk a lot? That's
I have 3 half sisters that I don't
Okay.
really talk about. Yeah, but that's huge and a lot of my self help.
Do you do anything for self-help, Irish? We're going to get into your talking, but do you do anything?
By all means.
Smoke weed. A lot of that. A lot of I don't know, like a lot of video games.
Drugs
I'll-
are bad. PSA
I'll-
for my podcast.
I'll read sometimes. And I don't know. I find it like honestly just listening to like comedy and podcasts is like very
Yeah.
therapeutic to me.
Yeah. You are a musician, and does your connection to music get therapeutic? Like, can you zone out in that zone and you're just one with whatever you're playing?
Yeah, I can pretty much like queue up any like mind frame I need to get into. I can go like I know which song I need to listen to like bring
Yeah.
that out and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I got it like pretty like down to a science.
I
at this
seen
point.
it. I seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, like if I need to get angry, I'm like I know which song to play. If I if I want to be like happy and chill and smoking some weed, same thing. I know which song to play.
Yeah, my dad's a musician, and I tried playing drums like him. He's a drummer, and I could never get that connection to music. Like, I love music. I listen to it all the time. You can tell I'm really into music because I'm wearing a Lil Uzi Vert shirt. You can tell that I am not basic in any way. But no, I do listen to a lot of music, and but I never get that connection of knowing how to play and get into that therapeutic meditative state. And that's something I'm always very jealous of. Do you play any instruments?
I don't. I took piano lessons once upon a time, and I can probably just play chopsticks
So
at this
that's
point.
why you need to do all this shit.
Well, I have like other outlets that I've been doing. Like, so I am a painter. Like, I'm an artist. So
A very good
thank
artist.
you. Like for over 25 years, I don't know at this point. Like I started very, very young. One of my half sisters like taught me at a very young age, like different techniques, like how to paint and stuff. So like that was my like thing that I did growing up that just ended up being something that was therapeutic for me, which probably is like why I got into creative things in general.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have a daily routine? I guess this is a question for both of you, but don't answer at the same time.
I wake up promptly at the crack of noon. No, I don't know. I usually like wake up around like 10 or so. Get up. I usually go get like I don't really drink coffee, so like I'll go get like an iced tea or something. Honestly, I don't really understand how my body operates on like I really don't do a lot of like caffeine or like anything like that. So
Yeah.
people are often shocked. They're like, how do you function? I'm like, I don't know. I just keep going.
I don't like caffeine. I think of it as kind of a drug where I don't like how I feel when I'm
Love
on it. And
caffeine.
it's something that I actually have a vendetta against caffeine because I once ruined a laptop in high school because I spilled a coffee on it. And I kind of vowed to never drink coffee after that. But no, I
That's
just
something we need to work on letting go of.
I know, but no, I don't like how caffeine really makes me feel. I even had to stop drinking tea, which I enjoyed because I'm a British grandmother.
I don't know. Yeah, like I kind of get up. I try to like write down my like list of to do and like goals for the day, and then it's usually.
Do you do that every morning? You
Yeah, I
like
try-
write down a list?
Yeah, I try to. There's some mornings I
Yeah,
cock
of
it up,
course.
but I try to do that, and then I balance like 2 or 3 jobs really. So I'm like I'm usually like constantly working and stuff, doing pre-production for that, for the podcasts, for Gas Digital's podcast. So it's a lot of my days like just pre-production planning for shows, and then cutting clips and stuff, and then usually by the nighttime once my stuff's all finished, I just kind of like hang out and play video games or
Yeah.
read or something like that.
When did you start working? Did you like work hard at an early age, like job wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think as soon as I could work, I was trying to do stuff. Like, I think my first job was I think I was maybe a lifeguard or like working at a summer camp or something like that.
I think that's important. When I
worked at
really started,
Shaw's.
you worked at Shaw's?
Yeah, when I was 14.
Oh, that was before me. I was a camp counselor, like we all were when I was 14. But when I really started working at 16, I was working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, that's a good thing when you're like 16, 17.
Yeah, make your own money and stuff.
Exactly.
It's a
'cause-
nice feeling when you got money and other people around you are like, oh.
And then you can slack later.
Yeah.
So you write down the list. Do you do anything else before, like,
You know, I might,
Yeah.
some mornings I might stretch.
do you
and shit.
play every day or no? Do you not get time for,
Video games?
no, for music?
For music. I'm at least listening to music at some point during the day, but in terms of like being able to play, like, yeah, it's hard. I'm lucky if I get like maybe an hour in like every like 2 or 3 days.
All right, question turn to you. Now you can shut off. I forgot no negativity on this podcast.
Everybody love everybody!
I'm sorry. I broke the first rule. I'm sorry. Second rule. We don't talk about the first rule. All right. So how about
you broke both rules.
I did.
Technically, I half broke one of the.
Naughty boy.
I know, he likes to talk.
What's your daily routine?
So my daily routine now has drastically changed, like because of COVID. Because prior to COVID, I was a full-time interior designer, and I had other jobs like besides that, and plus doing podcasting, all of that. So the routine I once had isn't anymore.
Yeah.
And that honestly wasn't a routine that I ever liked. Which is part of the reason why, like, when I lost my job after, you know, when the whole COVID thing started, it was almost like a blessing, you know,
Yeah.
because it gave me like the opportunity and space to sort of like find a new routine that made me happy. Because I don't think that I was like truly happy. I think I was just doing something because I felt like I had to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I went to school for this, I have a master's, like all the stuff. Like, I have to give it a chance. And at that point, it's been like 10 years. So as of, you know, that time period, I just shifted over to something that I pretty much started only like a year or so ago in comedy, or like, I guess your comedy journey, like it started a little bit before that, but that just allowed me to kind of just like dive into the things that I like more now, and like doing more artwork and stuff too, which makes me happy. So that's part of my new routine.
That was a great answer to a question I didn't ask. No, I appreciate that. But do you have something? Maybe you're not that type of person, but do you? I have to do like the same thing every morning to get myself motivated.
It's not like that for
Yeah.
me now. Like, I mean, I'm not a morning person, but now I've sort of forced myself to become one, to get things in during the day because I'm so passionate about the other projects that I'm working on, you know? So it really depends, like, what are my deadlines for things? Because I'm, like, grasping at so many different projects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't make a list every day, but I make a, like, this is what needs to happen by these dates type of lists, you know?
Yeah. I have to do the same thing every day. That's my like reptile, that's my monkey brain. Like I need to like repetition is the only thing. Like I talk about like I have to get addicted to good things. Like I need to get addicted to good things. So like every morning I meditate, then I do yoga, and then I journal, and then I work out, and then I'm like, all right, now I can do whatever I want to do.
I don't do enough of that. And he like tries to like make sure that I do that. Like that's a good voice in my head. You know what I mean? But I'm not good about making myself do that. I know I should do it. I like sort of talk about it.
Yeah.
And then like I don't make time for myself.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if that's like being like a workaholic.
That was
and just
hot.
being
Probably
Like-
yelling this hot.
yeah. You know, like addicted to like your craft. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Not addicted to crack. You
No.
need to be addicted to your craft.
Kraft mac and
Get
cheese.
that on a bumper sticker. I'm not addicted to crack. I'm addicted to my craft.
I don't know. Do you feel that way?
I do, and it's so funny when I tell friends that like I need to get addicted to good things. They're like, "You shouldn't use that word. You shouldn't use that word addicted because it
Why?
has like negative connotations." And I think that's so dumb because
Words
you can
shouldn't have
take
that moral meaning on,
no.
you know,
If
that
you let
hold
words
on
have
you.
power over you, you got some insecurities.
Yeah. Well, that's why I hate people who are like, free speech, you can say whatever you want, which is true, but like hate speech is in the law. Like hate speech is part of free speech, and that's what people who like yell free speech always don't understand is like, no, like you can get in trouble for what you say if it's hateful, and I think that is a good policy, and I think that's like why free speech, I agree with it in the way that we have it, because we have laws against it. But that's not even what we were talking about. We were talking about addicted and how you can be.
Up.
I bucked up. But no, like I do think you can get addicted to good things.
Yeah.
Like we all get addicted to things, whether it be coffee, whether it be if we like reading. Like if we start reading, then you're just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna keep reading more. Or if you start like, this might just be me because I have like an addictive personality. But like if I go to McDonald's, I'm gonna be like, I want to go to McDonald's again in a couple days. And it like kind of then becomes a habit. So if you get good habits, then you can kind of break the bad ones. Now, I'm saying this only 90 days into really like trying to be good in habits. But it's true. It's like you can build up that tolerance.
But I mean, you can create any habit, good or bad, in like, what is it, 21 days or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of fact. No,
Some kind of fact.
some kind of
You
fact.
know those facts.
You know?
So how do you, I'm going to pivot basketball term for all the sports fans listening. Pivot on over to how do you guys like manage in COVID being together, working together, like a combined being life?
Oh, how do I not choke this bitch?
Yeah. How are felonies not happening in this podcast studio?
Honestly, because I'm very uncompromising in terms of when I'm in a relationship. Like it's got to be honesty, communication, and I don't accept anything that isn't logical. Like if something is like an emotional reaction to something on either side, it's like, no. If you want me to be on your side, you have to give me a logical explanation and reason why. And I don't know, it works pretty good.
I mean, and some people take that super offensively for some reason, and like listen to the sentence. You know what I mean? I was raised to like, if you have a problem, don't come to me if it's not logical. That's the way that I was raised. Like, I don't know how anybody else was raised. That's their problem. But I wasn't allowed to have a problem if it wasn't logical.
Yeah.
You know, like, I can't act on my emotions. Like, that takes control over you.
It really does.
You know, and then you react. And then within that reaction, bad things happen. And, like, I say this knowing who I'm dating and knowing that people love to comment on the things that they think are very reactionary. And you can speak for yourself in that regard. I don't need to talk for you.
I just want to interject just about that emotion thing is I do that so much. I react. I mean, I've been trying. That's why I meditate. That's why I do all this stuff is I try to get better, but I try not to. Oh, there's people yelling outside. This is so fun. I love hearing like people argue in public. I
Wow.
can't repeat what was being said because it was
I don't think the audio will pick it
colorful
up.
language that
Yeah.
I am not allowed to say. But yeah, there were people yelling.
And the window's
outside.
closed. That's the interesting.
That's it. We should get him in here.
Oh God.
We should. All right. So Irish is gone. I want to ask you. No. What is your? It was one of my questions, and I want like, what is your favorite thing about him? And I'm gonna ask him the same thing about you.
Jesus Christ.
I'm asking the hard-hitting questions, and trust me, I'm just doing this so I can give you time to think.
No, I mean,
Just an angry man on a phone.
I was on a phone call.
Yeah, he wanted
He's
us to all join in his phone call. I guess.
Powerful.
Hilarious.
I don't know.
I just asked her, and I'm going to ask you the same question. And this is unfair because now he's going to have a lot of time to think.
I
But
know.
you've had a good amount of time to think since I originally asked you the question. I asked, what is her favorite thing about you? No.
My honesty.
She
I didn't answer yet.
she didn't answer.
But I mean, that's
The answer changed the second you walked in the room. I'm just
no,
kidding.
it didn't. It didn't. I mean, that's part of it. But like, we have very good communication, you know, and I have a lot of anxiety, and he's very good about managing that. Like, I don't know. It's like not. It's just, I don't know. That's probably. There's like a lot of things. You want me to pick one thing?
Yeah, you can just pick a random thing. I'll even give you a pen and you can write it out.
I know
on
it's a
that.
long list of things. I'm very likable.
His hair, his glasses. I'm just naming things I can see right now.
I don't know. Like, people think he doesn't treat me with respect, but he does. Like, we're just always on the same page about things. Like, it's not unreasonable to ask like what the reason for a question is. Like, women do that all the time.
Yeah, I'm putting on record I don't have Facebook on my phone, so I don't know much
I don't
that's going on.
know.
But I do want to say that every time I've been with you, you guys are a great couple, and you do treat each other with respect, and you're very funny with each other.
Like, I
and real with
understand the
each other,
context
yeah.
of what he's like saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
we also like understand what our value is in the relationship. Like that's the thing. It's like, you know, I mean, we kind of like, I don't want to say we base our relationship on this, but like I think I get a lot of my principles personally from like Patrice O'Neill, and I think she gets a lot of hers from Vaughn DeCarlos, which is so like.
You
Yeah.
brought
I
the
mean,
book in.
And like I mean, I kind of turned you on to Vaughn like once we started dating, and it just kind of like everything clicked for
Can
you.
you not get sexual on the show,
Oh,
please?
sorry.
no,
Is my boner
not
show?
in that way.
Oh my god, this I don't even remember what it was, but this bitch was saying something the other day, and like after you were done, I was like, oh my god, my dick is so hard right now. In a way, and it actually wasn't even anything sexual. It was just something you were doing or saying to someone. You were just like, I feel like you were being such a cunt to someone, but in such a righteous way. And I was just sitting here like, oh my god, that's so hot right now.
That was rule 3, and now she can't show the show to her mom.
I know.
I said it.
That's not
Her
fair.
mom is not allowed to watch the show now.
It's
I
okay.
really hope most people have given up on this so far. No, it's actually so funny. I'm going to talk about this in the podcast because I want to. This is going to be my marketing technique. Is you only have to listen to this for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Pick random 30 seconds. You're not going to like any of us in it, but
Yeah.
I'll still get the view.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Like-
I'm not talking about that view because we should get those women on.
This is okay. So, if I'm gonna boil it down, if I want to do something, like, you've always been very encouraging. You know what I mean? If I wanted to like continue to paint or something like that, whatever, like, you bought me an easel so I can paint easier, like during COVID. You know what I mean? Because I don't have a space for it right now. Like, that type of shit.
That's cute.
Like, you know, like, I don't know. You're fucking thoughtful. Like, what? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
Like,
see, she's getting flustered,
it's
and
annoying.
that's how I know.
I hate that I
it's
have to.
real.
I hate that I have to justify
No,
it.
dude,
You know?
your reaction is the right answer.
It's
you
just
should get
not
angry.
fair.
You should get passionate.
Why should I
about it.
have to like justify? Like,
got the
oh,
napkin
why
right.
Why are you dating him?
I didn't say that.
I know, but a lot of people wonder. It's like,
No,
it's really
that's
annoying.
Why I think that is. That's why when I see you guys, you're great together, and you are very respectful of each other. And that's why. Do you have like one? I'll ask a nicer question to you. And this isn't sexist. I just feel upset that she got so upset.
I'm
and
not
trying,
upset. It's
I'm
just
trying to
like-
smooth it. I have an orange and a glass of water. Which will make you better? I'm not very
I'm
good
okay.
at.
It's fine.
I'm not a nurturing good person. No, what is one thing that you appreciate about her? And I am going to give you an answer before you can pick this one. Is because when you bought her that the art easel and
Yeah.
the supplies. That shows that you care about her passions, and that's something that's probably like number one key and really important.
Honestly, in past relationships, like I haven't had that type of support before, so
Yeah.
it's nice to see that exists in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I guess I would say the loyalty. She's a ride or die bitch for sure.
Yes, yeah. Even that's when you're together. You're a team. Even I don't see you guys argue that much. I haven't been that, but it's like a team.
Oh, no,
even
we
when
argue
I
all the
see,
fucking
I know,
time.
but when
All the fucking time.
even the little bits I see it as.
He
something
knows
that-
how I feel. He always knows how I feel.
You should
And
get
I'll let
off.
you know when you're wrong.
should get off Facebook for like a month and see how your hair's gonna be short. It's gonna be thick and blonde. You're gonna become a different person.
Oh my god.
I don't know why I just described myself.
I'm just gonna morph into you.
You're just gonna morph into me. Yeah, exactly. But so that was all the grilling I'll give you for right now about that. But with business, so you were building the podcast before you guys met.
Yeah, I've been doing podcast stuff for
has.
about like 2.5, maybe 3-ish years at this point.
And that's a passion. Like that's a passion. I can see it. I know we can't show a camera around this room. And also I feel like you'd be embarrassed because there's an Assassin's Creed Revelations poster, which you're an interior designer. There's a reason that's no longer in your field of work if you kept that poster here.
Is it not my poster?
No, but it is a very beautiful studio, and you did set up some great things, and it shows your passion in it because it's not like you funded this yourself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was. It was mostly motivated from like, I've always loved comedy and stuff, and I was like, I have a lot of like funny, like ridiculous conversations with my friends, and I was like, I'm gonna have these conversations regardless if I record them or not. So I was like, why not record them? That's basically what started it. And then I've been doing like audio and audio production for like 10 years, so it was like it was essentially already stuff I knew. Like, setting up a microphone is fucking nothing, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, just kind of I find you push on a lot of doors in life, and like not all of them open. Like, I don't know, I tried to do the music thing for like 10 years. We opened for some like cool bands and stuff, and like I'm still making music and working with my band and stuff, but the like 10 years of that versus the like 3-ish years of like podcasting, like wow, the podcasting stuff like really popping off. So it's just kind of like I just inherently put more energy into that.
I mean, like podcasting, like listening to podcasts kind of like changed my perspective on so many things. Like,
And you've grown exponentially
Oh
in
my
this short
God.
amount of time that you've been in it.
dude, the same month that I started my previous job that I was at, like maybe 3+ years at, which was probably the best interior design job that I've had, and I've had many. Same month that I started that job, I started therapy and I started listening to Guys We Fucked. And like the combination of those things
Yeah.
was impeccable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like just like hearing other people's perspectives that I've never heard before, because growing up I was very sheltered and I was an only child, and like my parents come from immigrant backgrounds, and like there are certain things that like you're just not exposed to like in your immediate circle. And if you go to school and college like around like where you grew up, like that's just what's gonna happen, you know what I mean? I like to think that I'm well traveled, but like that helps me like get exposed in like other ways, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Well, that's kind of I'm not into the technical side of podcasting, and I'm really excited that I'm being able to host one now. And I thank you guys for that opportunity. But I got into podcasting when I was a junior in high school. I got in a really bad hockey accident.
Oh shit.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like a real bad concussion. I had to take 2 months off from the last 2 months of school off. I had to lay in my dark room all day. I could go outside barely. I couldn't listen to any music. I couldn't like look at any screens. I couldn't be in the light. I couldn't listen to music, and I loved music. So I was like, what am I going to do? And I had a neighbor who was like, oh, you should try podcasts. Like, this is when they first were starting.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I started listening to podcasts all day, every day.
What was the first podcast?
Mark Maron I listened to. I
Nice.
love the Todd Glass Show.
Uh-huh.
Joe Rogan Experience. Comedy Bang Bang I really liked. At that time, the Paul F. Tompkins Show, I think it was called. I just loved all of it, and I fell in love with that and stand-up, and that's kind of, if we fast forward time, how we got to here.
Wow, cool.
And that's kind of how I got into podcasting. But you were always an audio engineer, and then you kind of got into podcasting. You've gotten very successful with it. How I see it in myself, like how I believe in myself with comedy, is I feel like I'm on a train track, and I can feel the train 15 miles ahead. Even though I don't see it, I just feel like if I stand there or wait or, not stand there, but move forward, it's going to come and I can feel it. Is that kind of how you felt when you got into podcasting? Like you're like, oh, this is something I can be successful in.
Yeah, I mean, I saw how much, I just really enjoyed listening to podcasts, and I saw how much it was popping off, and more people, especially someone like Joe Rogan, where it's just like, man, like you don't. I don't want to say you don't need to like watch the news, but like watching the news is always just kind of like pointless to me, because no matter there's always going to be a spin or a perspective on it, like other than just like, hey, here's just the unbiased truth of what's going on. And so I found that like these longer form conversations, you can kind of get more in depth. So I was like, I just kind of see, and TV just kind of feel like radio's already basically dead. Like TV feels like it's starting to like switch over like Netflix and stuff like that. So it's just like, this seemed like a smarter avenue. And then like once I just started investing like even a little bit of time into it, like it started becoming more and more fruitful. And then I just started branching out, noticing like, hey, other people in the area probably want a podcast. They probably don't want to pay like out the ass for like a crazy like studio, but like
Especially when you're first starting, and like if you don't know what you're doing or anything, you want someone with experience.
So yeah, how did your journey start into podcasting? Kind of like, not how did you guys meet, but how did you start getting into the business side of it?
Well, I guess when I started, when they asked me to be the third host on Kingz.
Shout out Kingz,
Shout
great
out to
podcast.
Kingz. Shout out to Charismatic.
Shout out Charismatic.
And shout
Love
out,
you, PJ.
Shout out to Kirby for leaving a spot for me. But we're kind of just like, well, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Like, how can we like make this sort of as profitable as possible for all of us, and so that we can like talk to as many people as possible. So I'm just like, what's the game plan? Like, I can't go into anything without like a plan.
Yeah.
Not a very spontaneous like person in that way. Like in other ways in my life, for sure, but not when it comes to like, all right, I'm getting into a new project. So, I mean, when I brought that up, that's kind of when we started talking about like bringing other people on and like having producers and stuff. But
well, it just made sense because I mean, at the time, it was really like only just running Kingz and S.T.C here, I think, and I was just like, I'm like, I might as well like try and like start bringing in more people, because I just inherently, when I started like dabbling in like the open mic stuff, I was like, there's a lot of these people that probably want to do podcasts, so it's like, why not?
Yeah. And that's it's a great thing, and you're kind of starting up. It is funny though. The Boston comedy scene is a lot like that in the Boston podcast scene, I guess, where it's like you think there's one, but there's not. Like the Boston comedy scene is great, and I love it and shout it out. But like, it's funny when you hear about it in like historical senses.
Right.
You think it's so much more grandiose, and then when you're in it and you're in the nitty gritty like weeds of it, and I think that's kind of how everything is. It's history makes it bigger and better, but with podcasting, there isn't really something, and you're really creating something here, and you guys both are. So you worked on it. So you've been in this for what? How many years?
not that long.
Not that long.
Literally like
Couple months.
Couple months.
Couple
like,
months,
Like
yeah.
to January. When did you guys have me on? December? Something like
Probably
that?
like since December-ish.
Yeah, December. Just that
Well,
sounds
then you
right.
guys got lots of success in that short time, and how
COVID
do you-
was really great
how do you feel?
for us, at least.
like, how do you believe in yourself to get your success? Do you have a voice? Like, do you have that resistance voice? Shout out Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art.
Yeah, I mean, I hear and feel like the resistance like every day. That's like a battle you have like in every aspect. You know, like I want to play video games, but I got work to do. Like there's resistance there. I want to, you know, just
Dude,
fucking relax.
I have imposter syndrome, like for sure. Like, I think our whole generation does. You know, like. I mean, or at least like the generation that I'm in.
Please not speak for me on my podcast.
I mean, but for real, I mean, and in so many ways, but particularly like it depends, I guess, on your upbringing too. But I for sure like all the time I'll do something that is perceivably like I did a great job, and I'm like, fuck, what could I have done better? Oh, I'm not supposed to swear. I'm so sorry.
You can swear. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of. I just feel like I've been doing the things that I feel like I'm good at. I've been doing it long enough that I just kind of like trust I'm doing it right at this point. Like I just, you know.
You trust yourself.
Yeah.
You feel the train ahead of you before you even see it. You feel it on the tracks that you're standing on.
That's
don't know
what
if
this
that's
felt like for me. Like, I mean, and it's very evident that was clearly what I'm supposed to like at least focus on right now because in such a short time it feels like we've done so much.
Yeah, do you guys want to talk about your successes? You guys are very quiet about that, and that's something I know I talked about in the front of the podcast about, but I don't want to pressure you guys because it is your lives and you're making moves. No one needs to know the moves, but you make moves, and that's something that is very impressive that you don't talk about. So I kind of have... I'm writing this dumb journal with the podcast. I'm never going to put it out, but it's just so I can kind of get my thoughts out of it. And I wrote down what my 5 pillars to personal success and happiness and what I think they are.
Yeah.
And I'd say that was mental health, physical health, relationships, whether that's, you know, and boyfriend, girlfriend, or family, friendships, career, and finances. And then I had a 6th pillar that not everyone feels, which is spirituality, which I feel, but I don't think that's for everyone, so I didn't want to put that. So I guess with that, do you feel, the reason I bring it up, I'm sorry, first time, you gotta.
No, this is
No,
great.
take it.
This is perfect.
Take the reins, sir.
Do you feel a spirituality in your success, or do you feel like it all pays off in your work? I mean, I get it all pays off in your work, but do you have a spirituality?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, like, I'm not really much of a, like, I don't know that I inherently, like, believe in a God, but I think the closest to describe what my, like, spiritual beliefs would be is essentially, like, like the Force from Star Wars minus being able to, like, move shit with your mind and stuff like that. Like it kind of like on an energy level and stuff like that.
Is that why you connect to Star Wars so much? I don't want to out you.
I think
don't
so.
want. I don't want to pull you out of the
No,
closet.
no,
but
that's
you have
fine.
so much Star Wars shit in your room.
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of that. I mean,
Kinda
That's why it's
seems
like
obvious.
if people are gonna be mean to you, just bully you about Star Wars. Why are they bringing other shit into
I mean,
it?
it's cool. I mean, another connection I have to it is my mentor for like music and audio production is this producer in New York, and his nickname is Jedi or Jedi Master, and like in the community, and he's worked with like, you know, he won a Grammy working with Eric Clapton. He's like Talking Heads sound guy, Chick Corea, like all these like crazy acts, Public Enemy, and so like all of his like little underlings were, he calls us his Padawans and stuff, and we all have like code names, so to speak, which is inherently, as I say that out loud, pretty gay sounding, but
But
no.
you need that because it's structure, and structure in your life
Yeah.
gives you, it's that repetition kind of. If you have structure and repetition.
Well, and it's like a little like I'll pull the curtain back a little bit.
Like it sounds culty, but like, you know, it's not.
It's I mean it's like I don't know.
You don't want to see his full back tattoo dedicated to this cult.
I don't know the fuck you people. I don't know one of the
Positivity.
like
Never
one-
said we can't roast.
like
right?
one of the greatest lessons that I do maybe as part of my, we were talking about routine earlier. I do this every morning that Jedi taught me, and he's like, every day I wake up and I say out loud, money comes to me easily, and then it just does. He's like, well, you know, if I'm struggling, all of a sudden I'll notice like, oh, some artist paid me finally for like a last $200 they owed me, or that he's like, my bills always manage to get paid. I never go hungry. Even if I have like $5 in my account, like something will happen. This is a man who lives in New York. He's got he's a fucking Grammy winner, and there's sometimes he'll have like $5.
But you have to be like aware of those other, like essentially those pillars that you were talking about in order to be in that mindset for someone, because like you hear that and people are like, this man's fucking insane. You know what I mean? But like that you have to be in that mindset to believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it probably is a little insane, but guess what? You have to be a little insane if you
Well,
want to be
exactly.
successful.
You have to do
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, so do you want to talk about your spirituality? Because I do believe that
Sure.
you have to believe in whatever works for you. I know I just said that, but it's true. I say it. I repeat myself because it's important.
I mean, I grew up like going to church and stuff, but as I got older, I found that wasn't something that I as closely identified with, like in the same way that like maybe my family does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do feel like some kind of spirituality that like there is like a greater force, if you want to call it that, or a greater something. But because there are coincidences, and then there are things where like, oh my God, this person, I know what this person came into my life for, and I know what that other person came into my life for, and like you can see like the perspective. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. It's funny when you realize how insignificant the meetings of people who are so important to you are. Like you'll run into people in the weirdest ways, and if you really think about it, you're like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
But then you realize there is like almost like a connection. Like there's synapses in the world that bring those people together.
Yeah. There has to be.
There
We're
has
all
to
getting like
I know we're getting very foo-foo
Going
on
deep.
this.
Going deep.
Do you guys do anything? You guys are both fit-looking people. Do you do anything for physical health?
So,
try.
I mean, I try. I can't pretend that I've been like good at all about it during the quarantine and stuff. I mean, I have like 10-pound dumbbells in there that I'll do that. I'll do push-ups and just like real basic shit just to kind of like stay fit. But
No, you just try to keep a balance of all things.
honestly, it's just good genes. I think the Native American genes in me keep me skinny. Thank God. Because if you saw the rest of my family,
What's the brand? I'll buy a pair.
You son of a bitch.
You fucked up.
You fucked up.
That needs to be a drop, by the way. I don't know why I heard it in Tom Segura doing his black voice. You don't bugged up.
I'm not trying to get canceled on my first episode.
Well, you should have thought about this booking better.
Listen, we've all already done the thing that's gonna get you canceled.
I mean,
100%.
You know
I'll
what I
actually
mean?
tell a personal story. I will tell a personal story that I'm really scared about being canceled, but I'll talk about. So in 4th grade, we had this thing called the Living Wax Museum where you had to dress up from a famous person in history. And
I already know where this is going.
And I was told growing up, later found out that it's not true because a lot of Southerners are told this, but that I was related to Robert E. Lee. My grandfather was named after Robert E. Lee.
They tell a lot of Southerners.
They tell a lot of Southerners that.
Well, my great-grandpappy's grandpappy was related to
Exactly.
great Rob.
So there's a picture about me. I didn't want to dress like this. This was my family's choice. There's a picture about me in 4th grade dressed as Robert E. Lee in a Confederate outfit.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's way. I swear to God, I thought you were gonna tell us a blackface story.
Oh no, I'm not
Oh,
that
yeah, I
dumb. I'm
actually
not that
thought
dumb.
that too.
I'm not that dumb.
I was like,
No, but
oh.
there is a picture of me dressed up as Robert E. Lee in 4th
Nice.
grade.
Wow, that's insane.
Okay, do you want to talk about your physical health?
I mean, like, I would say that I need to be better about this, but I really try in the past, like, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 years to be good about doing yoga.
It's amazing. Yeah.
But I think like the thing that if I made the time, I'm bad about it. But if I made the time and if I had like the commitment to do so, to go back into boxing, I would. Because that was when I was at my like peak physical health.
Yeah, I think that's.
I love those excuses that you're
I
giving.
know it's so. And
Well, you
this is why I have a
it's
self-help
an excuse.
podcast.
It's an excuse, absolutely. But like,
What are you gonna do during quarantine, especially though?
I can't like undo it.
Oh,
you know?
well, that's why I
For some reason.
deleted Facebook and Instagram off my phone, is because I realized
Yeah.
like it takes a lot for me to dedicate 20 minutes to yoga a day, 15 minutes to meditation. Like for me to do that every morning, I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I
Yeah.
do it every day. And then I think that's 35 minutes. Like I could waste 35 minutes on Instagram easily.
Yeah.
Easily. And then it's like, but I don't think about the time I put into that. So it really, for me, is
becomes-
like a changing of your time.
Yeah, and it becomes harder when like your job switches towards like being on social media often. You know what I
Actually, that's
mean?
funny because when I guess you're running your own social media, but you're also running
Other social
a
media.
successful. When I ran other social medias for businesses, I didn't go on mine that much. It was kind of like I was like, I don't really care about myself.
Well, because
But-
it was like work for you at that point. Then it's like,
Exactly, yeah.
ugh, you don't want
That's
to take
kinda
work
how I
home
look
with
at
you.
it.
exactly.
Well, there was a point in my life where I was like constantly checking it, and for not good reasons. And I physically took like the apps and put them on the very last page. You know what I mean? So I wasn't tempted once I picked up my phone and saw that it was right there if there was a notification. Like,
You do it so easily, like your finger
yeah,
and your mind.
I
just
had
do
to
it.
train myself to not do that. Like, if I felt the need to swipe, I'm
Did
like,
you just see
"Uh-uh."
someone litter or something? What was that stare off?
What do you mean? I was just looking at her.
It was a roast. I'm sorry. About your Native American genes.
I knew what you were getting at, you fuck.
You like stared off into the distance for a
Oh my
second.
I was like, someone just, one little fucking native tear just rolls down. What is it? Someone littered on my land. White man, come and litter on land.
Oh my god.
No, but it is. It's all like, it stinks. I hate using time against it because you want to just kind of go with time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do that Jedi, the money thing. Do you have like a structure in place that you do for something? Not like
Mental
that,
health
but yeah.
type thing. I mean, I've been going to therapy for like 4 years. That completely changed my entire life.
Do you journal at all?
I should journal more.
Writing 30 minutes a day about how much you suck is really therapeutic. It's great because then you're done and you're like, got it all out.
That sounds actually amazing. I mean, at the time, like when I started comedy, I was not in like a good mental place. And a lot of my jokes were like very evident of that. So a lot of my initial like joke writing, quote unquote, or like notes that I had for myself were not happy things. So it's like, it's interesting to see, like, if you go back from like the beginning of time, like the evolution of like just the type of notes that you take in that context too.
Yeah. Do you feel a passion in comedy like you do in podcasting? Hard-hitting questions on Bucked Up.
I think he has a
You
different
done
answer than I do.
Bucked Up.
I mean, I've only been trying to do stand-up. I mean, I stopped the timer at the start of quarantine for like 7 months, so it's still like pretty new for me. Like, you know, I haven't been booked yet. I'm really just like going to open mic, so I can't really say that like stand-up has like gotten to a place where it's where I don't know if like maybe I'm not. I definitely could I have go out more? Probably, definitely, everyone could, but I don't know. Like it's one of those like pushing on the door things, and it's like I feel like with that it's kind of like it's slightly nudging like the door. It's not locked. It was kind of like maybe there's a fucking bookshelf leaning up against it a little bit, but like with podcasting, it's just like, you know, knock on wood, I haven't hit like really any resistance like at all.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really love podcasting, but I think I also really just love hosting in general, or like producing and curating like
It's fun producing and
experiences together.
entertaining.
Yeah. And so like I like the comedy aspect because then you can produce live shows, or like you can well, I mean, maybe, who knows now in this climate, but it seems like the people are trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like there's still like a niche there. And I think that's why I kind of like them in the same light because of that. Just one's a different medium.
Pivoting again for those sports fans that were getting bored with that conversation. Oh yeah, this is a sports podcast.
Sports self-help podcast.
No, I'm just kidding. No, in this journal, I wrote questions I wanted to ask you because I thought that would be fun and dumb. But this is another one that I feel like you're going to get flustered on, so I think it's going to be fun to ask you.
Okay.
Because it's such a simple question, but I just want you to freak out again.
Okay.
What is your best memory together? I feel like I pulled these out of like a get to know you card, like a icebreaker game. No, but is it? The reason I'm asking that is it a business memory, or is it like a how do
it's
you?
a personal memory.
It's a personal. Well, I think that's good because
Yeah.
that shows why you work well together in a business sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't come first.
I mean, not always. Sometimes in business has to come first. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of the times people observe our relationship in a business setting, but they forget that we're in a business setting.
This is a self-help podcast, so I'm going to give you a little bit of self-help. Don't speak for other people. Speak for yourself.
I know. Well, I'm just providing context.
I mean, I think
And-
we're really good about separating like business and our personal lives.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
and that's something I've always been pretty good at. Like even when I was working at that summer camp, like I was dating a chick there for like 2 years. And I remember like the second year, the director of the camp like pulled me aside one day and she was like, "Hey, like, did something happen with you and so and so?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Really?" She's like, "You guys don't really like interact much or anything." And I go, "Yeah, because you're not paying me to date her. You're paying me to be a camp counselor." And she and it's like that's the thing. It's like when I'm working, like I might as well like be asexual. Like when I'm working and money and all that kind of stuff, like pussy's the farthest thing
Well,
from
like
my mind.
there have been a number of times like if we're producing something and like you snap at me for whatever reason, like people think like, oh, he's just yelling at his girlfriend. But
He must scream at her in a relationship.
But
and it's
if
like,
you
no.
listen to any podcast, like if the host needs something right away and the producer's fucking bucking up, you know what I mean? Like they're getting yelled at live. Like
I like
that's
how
the
you
way
think
it
you
is.
can't swear, but I yelled the F word like 20 times during the intro.
And the N word. We had to clip that out, but man, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, everyone.
Irish is trying to bring the positivity down.
My God.
Wait,
Everybody love everybody.
Sorry, my bad.
you only do
Not
that
quick enough.
Not
See?
quick enough.
You know what?
Moving on.
Everybody love everybody.
Your comments are very negative.
I do journal, and I was reading some of these quotes that I took from my journal to you. And this is why I think it's funny, because it is a self-help podcast from someone who doesn't know what they're doing. And I think this shows, because everything I wrote sincerely in my journal could be a shitty Instagram post. Like from someone that you'd see and you'd be like, God, why am I following this account? Like I haven't spoken to this girl in 7 years. We were in the same class in middle school. Why am I
my
following her on Instagram? Why is she posting inspirational stuff? She doesn't care. Like she has a cat and she always writes about Big Bang Theory. Do I really want to hear about her inspirational quotes? And that's
Did that shit hit
The
different or
profound-
something?
The profoundness.
So here are some of Sam's quotes that I wrote sincerely from my journal. It's fun to push yourself and see the new heights you make.
What would be the image for that poster?
They would all be me. I just see myself doing the things, and I don't think anyone would buy it. Just like me holding on to like a rock, like climbing.
This is your first merch item, by the
Yeah.
way. Sam inspirational posters.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad we're recording this.
Guys, I'm really embarrassed reading this one. I want everyone listening to know that I'm very embarrassed. Success is a lot like love. You only receive it when you feel it within yourself. Guys, I wrote these sincerely. To be fair, it's very early
That
in the
makes
morning
sense.
when I do my journaling.
To
But
quote RuPaul, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love anybody? Can I get an amen?
that's a good one.
I watched
Amen.
RuPaul's masterclass and it was phenomenal.
I'm going to read one more, and I want you guys to think about this while I read this.
Okay.
What's something that, like, you think about late at night that you're embarrassed that you did in your past?
Oh, God.
God,
All right, let me read this third quote. I got to pick a good one.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say that one. Okay.
You have to no, that's actually a good one. I need to find a sad one. If you follow the right winds, they will lead you to your destination. I feel like these are fortune. I should quit podcasting on the first episode and go right for fortune cookies.
This is a Bucked Up exclusive. Pew, 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 pew.
I should make fortune cookie merchandise
Yes.
with my quotes from
With
my
that
journal.
Buddha that you drew
Yeah, with the Buddha that I drew. All
from
right.
earlier. We
Yeah,
won't talk
from-
about it. It's like Fight Club.
Exactly.
Nice.
All right, let's hear those embarrassing stories from your younger years.
I call going second.
I've got.
No. You're going first 100%
I know,
now.
I'm still thinking.
Okay, damn it.
That's why.
Guys, this is a podcast. I thought you were the professionals in this.
I know.
There
Well,
gotta be no...
I'm usually not trying to expose myself.
Do you
like
want me to
that.
sing a song while you think?
Can you give me a category? And I'm sure I got one for any category.
Middle school, at school, something embarrassing.
Okay.
I'll sing a song. Oh, am I gonna get pulled? Shot through the heart! I don't want to get pulled off YouTube.
No, you'll be good. They definitely won't recognize it.
Oh,
Oh no, that's why. That's the first song I thought of. And I
I-
don't know why.
It's not a good one. I can think of a better one, but I have a backup if you after you.
It can be elementary school too.
Okay. This is so stupid.
I'm not giving mine. I hope you know that. I already
You have
told.
to
I
give
already talked about
one.
Robert E. Lee.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay.
This is great podcasting, just to sound it up. Let's go, bitch. Tell it.
I thought you were going first. I
Rock-
didn't know
rock,
those.
paper, scissors.
I'll go
for
first.
this.
He was dictating. You go first. Let's see. Okay.
Could you not say that type of word on my show?
Which one?
The D word. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Let's see. This was. I think I had to be in middle school. I used to play little league baseball. That's a great one. This is. See,
Did
like,
you have the same hair?
oh wait, actually, let's see. Because I started growing my hair. I started growing it longer in like 6th or 7th grade. So I think I maybe like was down to here. Maybe I can't remember exactly. I was on the journey to long hair.
You look like a Texas Astros player. Baseball reference.
Yeah.
This is a sports podcast.
And see, this story is funny to me because it's like I'm mortified and embarrassed of this story, but like I actually got away with completely what I'm about to tell you, and somehow no one noticed this. And to this day, I still don't understand
Until
how.
this podcast goes
Oh,
viral.
I've told this story before. I was on. I had managed to get onto second base, and I'm just on second base, and it was just the long. You know when you have those baseball innings that just never fucking end, like people just keep fucking like foul balling, like it just went on for as long as it had to be at least like a 30-minute inning.
Yeah.
It was absurd, and so I'm just out there on second base, and I had to piss really bad.
Oh no.
And you know, I don't like, you know, a lot of me playing sports at that age was just my parents like making me like stay active and stuff. Like I don't really give a shit about baseball. Like I was pretty decent at it, but I just like I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. The only sport I really enjoyed playing was basketball. But I'm on second base and I'm just like, God, I'm sitting there for a while, and at a certain point I'm like, I gotta fucking piss. I'm like,
Oh,
there's
no.
no way around it. And I think I must have just been, maybe I was just, I had pee on the mind that I like didn't think that like, oh yeah, I could probably just like call timeout and like have someone come like pinch run for me. So I remember that like I just began, I was getting like real low, like I was gonna steal the bases kind of thing. But I was like, I basically like squatted low enough that I just was like, fuck it. And I just pissed my pants on second base. No one that like, I don't know if it's the angle, the way I tilted, that I managed to just get it to just run like just down my leg and go right into the sand, and I was able to like brush it up.
How did it not get on your pants?
I It did a little bit, but everyone was so focused in on the game they just didn't notice. I finally someone hit the ball, I hit home plate.
What pedophiles are so interested in a little league game that they don't notice a kid pissing himself on
Wow.
So what I did,
my mans.
I run through, I hit home plate, and I just keep running out of the field. I run over to the bathrooms. And I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do? So I get paper towels and I wipe myself clean. So then I just start splashing water all over my pants. I'm like, let me get all the pants. So I'll get them soaked all the way through, all the way around.
I just see you twirling around like a ballerina.
So basically, I take the pants off. I get them all soaked. I
don't
them
know
out.
why I imagined you keeping the pants on, not taking them off and putting them in the
just
water.
gonna splash it
just
all.
you splashing and turning around.
How old were you? Whatever.
I hope
Doesn't
not
matter.
6th grade.
It's probably 6th grade, honestly. And so then I put them back on, and then I walked back, and then I was getting close. I think it was my mom, fucking asshole. She was like, what's wrong with you? She's like, what's wrong with your pants? And one of those things where I'm like, Mom. In my mind, I'm like, shut the fuck up. but I'm just oh, it's the sink in there, the sprayer's I turned it on, it fucking splashed up and got all over my pants, and I was like, and she was like, and everyone bought it, and I was like, whoo, hey, maybe they didn't buy it and they were just being nice, but that was
Wow.
that was it.
I was thinking during this, how does that relate to self-help? But you definitely have some guide looking after you. That all those people didn't question it or anything. That they were just like, yep.
All my friends.
You have someone looking after you.
My friends have always joked that I'm quote unquote chosen by the gods, because I just I have just a history of lucky I shouldn't have gotten away with it.
You're just Irish. Luck of the Irish.
It must be the luck of the Irish.
That's it. Chill out with the gods.
Chill out with the gods.
You're upsetting the gods.
You're
upsetting the gods. They told me.
Who's gonna get smited first?
It'll be me. You
All
know
right,
what? I'm being too negative.
You did.
Everybody love everybody.
All right, what's your embarrassing story?
Yeah, you didn't get.
Let's go.
away from
We might
Okay,
get out of
fine.
it.
It's so stupid. That's why I was trying to think of a better one. But I specifically remember being in middle school learning about what genetics were, and our teacher passed out a list of things, and you had to check if you had them, just qualities, your the one specifically that stuck out in my mind that I was embarrassed about was that I had hair on my knuckles, but it was just that's normal, but kids are
Just a
dumb.
hairy knuckled bitch.
Yeah, kids are dumb and society's dumb, and women aren't supposed to have hair on their knuckles, but I'm Armenian. You know what I mean? So was half of my middle school. So nothing that no one would be surprised at. But then she made you raise your hands.
That hairy
and
hand.
she went through each fucking
That was
thing.
rude.
And I was like, dog, do I lie? Or do I stay truthful? And I raised my hand, but I was embarrassed, but I raised my hand still.
And you said it?
I think about it sometimes. And I said it, yeah. And I still think
That's
about
awesome.
that.
See, you're standing up for yourself. You learn things from these stories.
But I spoke my truth, though.
You spoke.
And guess what?
your
No one
truth.
cared.
So I was a camp counselor, and I used to love wearing sandals because I used to not like getting sneaker tans, but I have the weird little toes where it's not that much of a nail. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So whatever. It's you can hear how upset I'm still about it. I should quit this podcast. I shouldn't be hosting a
How
self-help.
often
I'm
do you
leaving.
journal about your toes?
I'm leaving. No, but I was wearing sandals one day, and one of the girls at the camp was like, "What's wrong with your little toe?" And I never wore sandals again at that camp, and I think about it sometimes. And I still think about it, and I don't know why I'm so upset about it, because that little girl OD'd on heroin. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know what happened to her, but it's on Cape Cod, so probably.
Actually, you know what? I'll tell you an even embarrassing story
no.
that just reminded me of. I remember another middle school story. This was 5th grade. Middle school was was a great time for me, and it also a source of great embarrassing times for me as well. Like I have an equal amount of hilarious stories from that and the shitty ones. And I remember there was this chick that I liked, and I remember I went up and asked her out.
All these chicks, is there ever a dude that you like?
No,
I don't know.
me.
I thought it was gonna be funny to say, but it wasn't. We'll edit it out. We edit a lot.
And
out.
low key,
All the
I
N-words.
think this was actually the funniest roast I've ever had in my entire life. But I was like, you know, I was like fifth grade me. I was like, hey, like so and so, I really like you. Like, do you want to be my girlfriend? And the reason that he said no, I can't believe I forgot this story, was because she goes, well, I asked my friends about you, and they all told me that you were gay. So no. And I was like, and I remember in my brain I was going, okay, but you're a woman, and I'm asking you what? But it was just the inherent juvenile
And that was
nature
the
of like.
moment you were like, women are goofy.
That's what it is. That's why I hate women. It's because one called me gay in fifth grade.
There you go, guys.
It.
That's the
Hear
that was
that,
the
Boston
one.
Comedians Part 2?
There you go.
Yeah.
Tweet
I
about
have
it.
not been on that. I told you, I've deleted it off my phone, and it's crazy how much time I wasted on
Hey,
that.
I just jump in there to give them content. I know they're all bored and they want to get out to open mics. And stuff.
Positivity. Play the clip.
Everybody love everybody.
I have
Everybody love
another
everybody.
embarrassing story if that other one wasn't
Yeah.
good enough, but it's about my childhood at camp.
Keep it going.
Okay, so this actually like directly relates to comedy. It's the first time I've actually thought about it in this context, but I do also think about this moment a lot. I was in a cabin of all girls that were like already had known each other for the past couple of summers, so they had their own inside jokes. So anytime they would like joke about something and I'd go to like riff with them, they were like, "No, that's not funny," like some bullshit, and I was like, "Dang." That's embarrassing every time I'm bombing, like out here all summer. I'm just bombing over and over.
You,
Oh,
got-
that-
you
that was
built
your-
your chops.
That was my friend.
Dude, like I remember all of middle school, I was bombing. Like in my friend group, I was like the bomber. Like like the amount of like they
I
would
wasn't
literally
in any other friend
the-
group, just that
the
one.
amount of times my friends would turn at me and I'd make a joke and they'd just all like wah wah like fucking nothing. And then I remember that it
It's
was
nice that you had friends to do that. I just bombed myself.
well then for some reason freshman year I remember specifically I was like coming out of the gates hot. I remember that summer I was like, all right, I need to fucking step up my game. I was like, I'm tired of being the fucking unfunny one in the group.
I'm being very unprofessional. I just didn't know how long we had gone.
Hour and a
I'm
half.
sorry. Oh, perfect. We can wrap it up
Start wrapping
soon.
up? Yeah.
But I want to ask one, because this is a self-help podcast.
Yes.
Oh, and I want to, did you even get your story in?
Yeah, I told
yeah,
two.
Yeah, all right, cool. I didn't know if you had a third.
No, I'm good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I'm going to ask you one more question. Let me look through my big book.
By the way, that's part of my keeping my mental health good is I have no qualms telling embarrassing stories or whatever. I got
Yeah,
no
no.
skeletons in the
It
closet.
doesn't matter.
I got none. People
What
try
is
and
your
hide stuff,
favorite
it's bad.
color?
Ooh.
I'm sorry, I had to.
No, probably
Black for you.
no.
No?
I mean I do like black, but it's kind of a I don't know. It's kind of toss up depending on my mood. It's probably either red or green.
Christmassy.
Yeah.
Do you
if
love
it's
Jesus?
I like I just like the fiery like aggression of red, but I like the foresty chillness of green.
My favorite color is also red. But I'm
You
very,
guys are
That's-
perfect.
I'm very partial to
That's so
olive
lame.
green specifically.
Oh, that's so
Red
lame.
and green. That's
That's so
great.
gross. By the way, we didn't rehearse that. I don't think
Yeah.
I've never cared enough to ask. Hey, babe,
He's
what's your favorite?
literally never asked my favorite. I don't
Isn't
care.
That so listen, guys.
I don't give a fuck.
Listen to me. They are cute. They're good together. They're respectful and nice, and I love them. Thank you guys so much for being on my podcast. I talked throughout the intro, so I do want to play the intro one time without talking through it. This is a good friend of mine, John Zayats. He doesn't have social media, but he is an amazing producer, and he did the beat, and Irish put the wording to it, and Ani actually did the logo, and you guys did such a great job, and I really, really appreciate you guys being on, and I love you both very much.
Yeah,
Thank
dog back
you.
at you. Happy to have you aboard.
Thanks.
It was at this moment that he knew.
He bucked up. Welcome. You're listening to Bucked Up with Sam Buck.